Have you ever heard the saying, there's no such thing as a free ride? Well, if you are a Royal Caribbean volunteer test cruiser, you're going to learn there's no such thing as a free cruise either. Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to today's video. Alright, so we all know months and months ago, Royal Caribbean put on their website they were going to ask for volunteers for test sailings. And last week, Royal Caribbean said that they were going to start sending out the invitations for the test sailings. And this week, they have started going out, and there are a couple of people who have received them. So over 350,000 people volunteered to go on Royal Caribbean's test sailings. And the volunteers were going to be selected randomly from that list. But those that were higher in the loyalty program would have a more weighted advantage than someone who, let's say, had never been on a Royal Caribbean cruise before. So we do have some new rules, though, and some requirements in order to go on these test sailings. And we're going to go over all of those here. So only volunteers over the age of 18 and must be fully vaccinated. And one person in the stateroom has to be over the age of 21. So two 18-year-olds can't go together. It has to be at least one 21-year-old and someone over the age of 18 in the same room. Of course, both have to be fully vaccinated and received the last dosage of your vaccination 14 days prior to sailing. You must have a valid passport book or passport card, no birth certificates, and the original hard copy of your proof of vaccination with you in order to get on the ship. If you receive an email from Royal Caribbean inviting you to be a volunteer, you must then register immediately in order to get a place on the ship. Once they reach occupancy level, they will start a waiting list for anybody who didn't get in that first group. All invitations are non-transferable. So if you are unable to take it or don't want to take this cruise, you simply just don't register. You can't give it to somebody else in your family, friends, or anything like that as well. Each guest will be assigned a double occupancy room, and you will be able to invite one person of your choice to go along with you. And of course, that one person will have to meet all the requirements that you did, so they will have to be over 18, fully vaccinated, have a passport book or passport card, and their proof of vaccination as well. So any requirements that you have to meet, your guest will have to meet as well. All staterooms will be assigned randomly. You will not get to pick your room. You will not get to change your room. They are simply going to put you where they want to put you, and that's where you're going to be for the cruise. So if there are certain areas you like on the ship, or you don't want to be in the front or the rear of the ship because you have seasickness issues, just understand you could very well end up there because you're not going to have any room selection options. They're just going to give you a room. Now, certain guests will be designated as unvaccinated in order to test and demonstrate the unvaccinated protocols. And the unvaccinated will have to go through COVID-19 testing, and there may be areas on board the ship you are restricted from entering because you are, unvaccinated. Even though everybody on the ship is going to actually be vaccinated, they still have to simulate the unvaccinated. So randomly, guests are going to be picked to be unvaccinated, and you're going to have to follow the unvaccinated cruisers' restrictions. Now, if you thought that being a volunteer on a Royal Caribbean test cruise was going to cost you nothing, well, Royal Caribbean has come out with the prices and fees that you're going to have to pay if you are on one of these cruises. There will be limited dining available in specialty restaurants, and that will be at 50% off of normal price. Drinks will be available on the ship at 50% off the normal price. No drink packages will be available during these test sailings. You will be able to purchase shore excursions and reserve shore excursions at 35% off. Internet packages and photographs will also be available during these cruises at 50% off. Now, the retail shops and the spa services will also be available on these cruises, and those will all be at regular prices. And finally, the daily gratuities will be charged to your SeaPass card once you are on board the ship. So yes, you still will be paying gratuities. So while it's definitely not going to cost you the full price of a cruise because you're not actually paying for your room, you still are going to have to pay some amount of money for activities on board the cruise ship, for drinking, Wi-Fi, specialty restaurants. Room service is going to be a normal charge, what they normally charge. They said breakfast will be complimentary, but after that, it'll be the normal room service charges. And of course, everybody's favorite that they like to argue over, gratuities. You're definitely going to be paying your gratuities, and they'll automatically put them on your SeaPass card, just like they normally would. And finally, mask requirements. Masks will be required indoors from all passengers except when actively eating or drinking. The exceptions to that will be masks will not be required in areas that are designated as fully vaccinated only. You don't have to wear a mask when you are outdoors or by the pool area, except in a crowded setting. And that is what we currently know about Royal Caribbean's test sailings. Like I said, people have already started to get the invitations for the Alaska test sailing. And my question will be to you, after you have heard this information, do you still want to go on a Royal Caribbean test sailing? Are you willing to pay money to get possibly selected as the unvaccinated, have to receive COVID testing, have areas of the ship that you can't get into? And don't forget, there are requirements from the CDC. They have to be able to demonstrate the ability to quarantine people if they are COVID positive. So somebody on the ship is bound to get COVID. In simulation, they're going to have to be quarantined. There are several things that they must test that is required by the CDC. And even though everybody is volunteering to go on this, and it's to help out Royal Caribbean and get them restarted, but it does, again, prove that there's no such thing as a free ride. But let me know what y'all think in the comments below. All right, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, let's give it a thumbs up. Have yourself a great day, and we will see you out on the high seas.